Look, I need to be completely honest with you right now. I'm done. I'm done pretending that everything is okay. I'm done sugarcoating what's happening to our economy, and I'm especially done watching everyone around me struggle while the so-called quote zero on TV keep telling us that everything is fine, because it's not fine. Not even close. If you're watching this video right now, there's a good chance you're feeling it too. That gnawing sensation in your gut that something is seriously wrong. That no matter how hard you work, you can't seem to get ahead. That the American dream you were promised has turned into an American nightmare. Well, you're not crazy. You're not imagining it. And today I'm going to show you exactly what's happening to our economy, why it's breaking right before our eyes, and what it means for your future. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because YouTube doesn't want you seeing this kind of content. Let's get into it. Here's something they don't want you to know. The average American is now spending 35% more on basic necessities than they were just 3 years ago. 35%. That's not just inflation, that's a complete restructuring of how much of your income goes towards simply surviving. Think about what that means for a second. If you were spending $3,000 a month on rent, groceries, gas, and utilities 3 years ago, you're now spending over $4,000 for the exact same lifestyle. The exact same lifestyle. Not living better, not upgrading anything, just trying to maintain what you already had. And here's the kicker. Wages haven't gone up 35%. Not even close. For most Americans, wages have increased maybe 10 to 15% if they're lucky. Many people haven't seen a raise at all. Do the math on that. You're making roughly the same amount of money, but everything costs dramatically more. This is why 64% of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck. That's nearly 2/3 of the entire country. And this isn't just low-income workers anymore. This includes people making six figures. I'm talking about engineers, nurses, accountants, managers, people who by all traditional standards should be comfortable. They're barely making it. But you know what really gets me? Every time regular people complain about this, we're told we're bad with money. We're told to stop buying avocado toast. We're told to cancel our Netflix subscription, as if $15 a month is going to solve the fact that rent has doubled and grocery bills have exploded. It's insulting. It's gaslighting. And I'm done staying quiet about it. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, didn't they say the economy is doing great? Didn't they say we avoided a recession? Unemployment is low, right? Yeah, that's what they keep telling us. The stock market is hitting record highs. Corporate profits are soaring. GDP is growing. On paper, everything looks fantastic. But here's what they're not telling you. The economy isn't breaking for everyone. It's breaking for regular people like you and me. Meanwhile, the wealthy are doing better than ever. Let me give you some numbers that should make your blood boil. In the last 3 years, billionaires have increased their wealth by over $2 trillion. Trillion. With a T. During the same period that you've been struggling to afford groceries, the ultra-wealthy have gotten exponentially richer. And that low unemployment they keep bragging about? Let's talk about what that actually means. Yes, technically, unemployment is low. But what they don't tell you is that millions of Americans are working 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. They're not unemployed, they're overemployed and still broke. The jobs being created aren't good jobs. They're gig economy positions with no benefits, no security, and no future. They're part-time retail jobs that don't pay enough to cover rent. They're contract positions where companies can fire you at any moment without consequences. This is the quote 3 they keep celebrating. An economy where you can work 60 hours a week and still not afford a one-bedroom apartment in most major cities. An economy where having a college degree and a full-time job doesn't guarantee financial stability. Does that sound like success to you? Because it sure doesn't sound like success to me. So let me break down the 4 major factors that are destroying the American economy right now. I call these the 4 horsemen of economic collapse, and they're all hitting us at the same time. Horseman number 1. The housing crisis. Let's start with housing, because this might be the most devastating issue facing Americans today. The median home price in the United States is now over $400,000. Let that sink in. $400,000. To afford that home with a traditional 20% down payment, you'd need to have $80,000 in cash just for the down payment. How many Americans do you think have $80,000 sitting around? According to recent data, Almost 60% of Americans don't even have $1,000 in savings for an emergency. But it gets worse. Even if you somehow scrape together that down payment, your monthly mortgage payment on a $400,000 home with today's interest rates is roughly $2,800. Add in property taxes, insurance, and maintenance, and you're looking at $3,500 to $4,000 per month minimum. To afford that comfortably, you'd need to be making at least $150,000 a year. The median household income in America is $74,000. See the problem? And if you think renting is the solution, think again. Average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in most cities is now between $1,500 and $2,500 per month. That's as much as a mortgage used to cost for an entire house. We've created an economy where the basic human need for shelter has become a luxury that most people can't afford. That's not an economy, that's a crisis. Horseman number 2, the debt trap. The second horseman is debt, and Americans are drowning in it. Total household debt in the United States has surpassed $17 trillion. That's credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical debt, all of it. Credit card debt alone has reached an all-time high of over $1.1 trillion. And the average interest rate on credit cards? Over 20%. That means if you're carrying a balance, you're paying more in interest than you're probably earning in your savings account by a factor of 10. Student loan debt is sitting at $1.7 trillion, affecting 43 million Americans. We've told an entire generation that they needed a college degree to succeed. Then we charged them a fortune for that degree, and now they're stuck with payments they can't afford for jobs that don't pay enough. And medical debt? Don't even get me started. 79 million Americans have medical debt. People are going bankrupt because they had the audacity to get sick. In the wealthiest country in the history of the world, people are choosing between buying groceries and buying insulin. This is the debt trap. You go into debt to afford education. Then you need debt to afford a car to get to work. Then you need debt to cover medical expenses. Then you need debt to cover the basic cost of living because your paycheck doesn't stretch far enough. It's a cycle designed to keep you trapped, working harder and harder just to stay in place. Horseman number 3, the inflation lie. Horseman number 3 is inflation, but not the way the government measures it. They love to tell us that inflation is coming down or under control. They'll say it's at 3% or 4% and act like that's a victory. But that's not how inflation works in the real world. First of all, those numbers are manipulated. The Consumer Price Index doesn't accurately reflect what regular people actually spend money on. It underweights housing costs. It uses substitution, meaning if steak gets too expensive, they assume you'll just buy chicken instead. And it completely ignores certain categories that are exploding in price. But even if we take their numbers at face value, here's what they're not telling you. When they say inflation is only 3%, that's additional inflation on top of all the inflation we've already experienced. Prices aren't going back down, they're just going up slightly slower than before. Your grocery bill that doubled over the last 3 years, it's not going back to what it was, it's just increasing at a slower rate now. That's not good news, that's continued pain. And let's talk about what's actually happening with prices in the real world. Eggs are still 3 times more expensive than they were. Ground beef is 40% more expensive. Used cars are 30% more expensive. Car insurance has gone up 25%. Home insurance is up 30% in many states. These aren't small increases. These are fundamental changes in what things cost. And your income hasn't kept pace. That's why it feels like you're drowning, because you are drowning. Horseman number 4, the job market illusion. The fourth horseman is the job market, and this one might surprise you. Despite the low unemployment numbers, the job market is actually terrible right now if you're looking for quality employment. Companies are laying off workers by the thousands. Tech companies, retail chains, manufacturers, they're all cutting staff. But here's the trick. They're replacing full-time employees with contract workers, part-time positions, and automation. So unemployment stays low because people are finding jobs, but those jobs are worse. Lower pay, fewer benefits, no security. You go from a salaried position with health insurance and a 401k to a contract position where you're technically self-employed, paying your own taxes, buying your own insurance, with zero job security. The American workplace has become a race to the bottom. where companies see workers as expenses to minimize rather than assets to invest in. And the result is that even people with jobs feel financially unstable because they are. Now, I know some of you are thinking, quote 8 no, this is different. And I need you to understand why. Previous generations faced economic challenges, absolutely. But they also had a clear path forward. You could work hard, save money, buy a home, and build wealth over time. The system was designed to reward effort and allow upward mobility. That system is broken now. The math doesn't work anymore. When my parents bought their first home in the 1980s, it cost roughly 3 times their annual household income. Today, the average home costs more than 6 times the median household income in many areas, and in major cities, it's often 8 to 10 times. When my parents went to college, you could work a part-time summer job and pay for most of your tuition. Today, college costs have increased 180% above inflation since 1980. You can work full-time all summer and barely make a dent in one semester's costs. The previous generation could save money because savings accounts paid meaningful interest. Today, your savings account pays maybe 1%, while inflation runs at 3 to 4%, meaning you're actually losing money by saving it. This isn't just hard, it's mathematically impossible for most people to get ahead the way previous generations did. The entire economic structure has shifted to extract wealth from the working class and transfer it to the wealthy. And that's not an accident. That's by design. So what happens next? Where is this all heading? I want to be clear with you. Things are going to get worse before they get better. We're not at the bottom yet. We're still in the breaking phase. Consumer spending is starting to crack. Credit card delinquencies are rising. Auto loan defaults are increasing. People are maxed out. They've borrowed everything they can borrow. They've cut every expense they can cut. And they're running out of options. When consumer spending falls, businesses will respond by cutting costs, which means more layoffs. More layoffs mean more people struggling, which means even less spending. It's a downward spiral that feeds on itself. The commercial real estate market is already collapsing. Office buildings are sitting empty because companies are downsizing or going remote. Those properties are going to default on their loans, which will stress the banking system. We could easily see bank failures in the next 12 to 24 months. And the government, they're out of tools. Interest rates are already high, which limits their ability to control the economy. The federal deficit is exploding, which limits their ability to spend their way out of trouble. They're trapped. But here's what I want you to understand. This collapse, as painful as it's going to be, is also going to create opportunities. Every major economic shift creates winners and losers. The question is, which side are you going to be on? Look, I'm not making this video to depress you or scare you. I'm making it because I believe that understanding what's really happening is the first step to protecting yourself and your family. The mainstream media won't tell you this. They're too invested in maintaining the illusion that everything is fine. The politicians won't tell you this because they don't want to admit the system is broken. So it's up to us regular people who are living this reality every single day to speak the truth. I'm done pretending everything is fine, because it's not. The American economy is breaking, but knowledge is power. And now that you understand what's really happening, you can make informed decisions about your future. In future videos, I'm going to talk about specific strategies for protecting yourself during this economic collapse, how to manage debt, how to position yourself in the job market, how to make your money work harder for you in this environment. Because while I can't fix the entire economy, I can help you navigate it. If this video resonated with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The algorithm doesn't promote content like this, so the only way it reaches people is if you share it. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Things are moving fast, and you need to stay informed about what's coming. Leave a comment below and let me know. What's the biggest financial struggle you're facing right now? Are you feeling the breaking of the American economy in your own life? I read every single comment, and your stories matter. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, we're all in this together.